there other things you like to do to take yourself away from music, to relax yourself off, other than?
I like to longboard. I just longboarded after a long time, like probably like 2 or 3 weeks since I've had the studio. Well, I've had the studio for a while, but I work there so much I haven't been able to like really longboard. I did that. I probably did like a mile, I think, 2 days ago. My feet still hurt because, like, again, I haven't done it for a while. So, like, it feel like I just did leg day and mad cardio. I've been out of breath for like the last couple of days, but also having asthma, that comes with the territory, I guess. But, yeah, I like to longboard. I like to exercise. I just started going back to the gym. I'm trying to get right because I'm also a performer, and that's going back to music. But I'm a performer. I like to stay in shape. I like to, if I decide one day I want to go on a jog and I don't make it down the street without being tired, I'm going to be upset at myself. I'm going to feel like I'm slacking. So I feel like keeping myself in shape has been something that I really have been enjoying to do lately, even though I eat like a hog.
I'm there with you, man.
So the typical man thing, I play video games. I got a Switch, Nintendo Switch, get at me. Sidhasspoken across all platforms. I don't do nothing crazy. Like, I haven't been on the last Call of Duty I got was like Vanguard. I'm not caught up on that. I don't got the new Battlefield, but if I get enough people that want to play, I'll get it. Long story short, I want to clown around with some other like artistic avenues and not just do music, which I've always been interested in, like directing, which is why I'm glad I have a lot of director friends such as yourself and Dead Soul and James Barry. And also writing scripts and stuff like that. Like, I'm interested in all these things, so like I dabble with it a little bit on my like spare time.
So if music wasn't easy to make, what else would you be doing?
That's a really good question.
Some people don't realize, like, you can make a whole song on your phone nowadays.
Yeah.
But
right. Shoot, you can do about anything on your phone nowadays.
Yeah.
Man, if I wasn't making music right now, I don't even know. Because growing up, I never really understood the 9-to-5 lifestyle. The rat race thing was kind of like a theory in my head since I was young. And just visualizing and seeing the different roads that people travel down to avoid that, I probably would have ended up down one of those lanes. I probably would have been in the street. I probably would have been on with some clique. I probably would have been on a set. I don't know. And like where I'm from, I still see that shit. I see youngins like younger than me that like rap. They rap because it's there, but it's like they're stuck in the street. You hear the conversations that people have in the environment of the studio, and you can't help but listen and kind of visualize and to like kind of think about some of the shit. You know what I mean? Like, to be 6 or 7 years younger than me, to be a sophomore in high school, to talk about the things you do and to do the things you talk about, it's crazy. But then I also think like, damn, if I didn't have this avenue that I have right now, if I wasn't making music my business and my career, I probably would have been on that lane. I would have been on that road. Not like my brothers weren't necessarily too heavy in that, but they were, they were in the street. So I grew up around it. I saw it out of the house. As a kid, you're like a sponge. So everything you see, you think is cool. You think it's like, it's what adults do, and you want to be an adult as a kid. And when you're an adult, you want to be a kid again. It's weird. But yeah, definitely would have been influenced by the wrong things, I feel like, most definitely. And not to mention, some of my favorite movies were like the cult gangster movies, like Boys in the Hood and Friday and, stuff like that. So
I think it's really good because it sounds like you really put all your marbles into rapping and making this into a career. Not just rapping, but like something within music.
Absolutely.
And what's great about that is that, well, one thing is like when people tend to give themselves like, well, this doesn't work out, this is my plan B and my plan C, is that then are you going all in on that plan A first? And that's what you did, is that you went all in. And some people are like, I'm going to try photography. And it's like, I have this other part-time job so I can have money because my photography money may not be great. And it's like, are you going on in on your photography business? Are you marketing your business? Are you creating, whatever to make yourself good?
Right.
And some people don't because they just don't have that time to put in because they're putting it in over here. And so that's what's kind of great about just what you said about like, man, I didn't have no plan B.
Right. No, I really did. I tried when you asked me the question, I was like, was there anything else I considered doing? I mean, prior to doing music, I was like, maybe when I grow up, I'll be a firefighter. Maybe when I grow up, I don't know, get signed by the WWE or something and be a professional wrestler. Like, you know, these were things that I'd seen when I was younger, and I was like, this is cool. I wouldn't mind doing this. Then growing up and realizing, oh, firefighters train extensively hard to work the job they do. They're wearing 100 pounds of gear every single time they go into a burning building. And then I think about going into like a high rise or something as a firefighter wearing 100-pound gear. Fuck that. And then being a professional wrestler, like, I'm a grown man, sure, but like every now and then I watch and I'm just like, yo, now that I'm older watching this, there's such a risk that they can still hurt each other, even though it's scripted or it's fake. Like, really watch it, bro. Like, there is a huge risk for somebody to walk out with breaking their necks, breaking their wrists, tearing their ACL. Yeah. Like, some people get injured and never ever return back to that profession.
Yeah,
they can't.
A lot of them are, in a way, are stunt performers, but it's like very controlled stunts.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it like football. Like, bro, they're wearing pads and helmets for a reason. They're not out there like the rugby guys. And I don't know what their lifespan is as far as like how long they're playing, but like football players, rugby players, and professional wrestlers, that contact stuff is not something light. Like, it's not easy. You train for that for a reason. But nah, I couldn't really see myself doing anything else now. Looking back at it now, I don't think I'd necessarily be happy doing all that other stuff as I am doing music. Even though it's frustrating and even though sometimes it's a challenge to try to stay creative, stay on top of myself. Yeah, like, I mean, I know what comes with this, so I'm doing it.
That's why I tell people too when I'm editing sometimes and shit doesn't work. I'm just like, it's part of it. You got to pre-imagine it. Now you got to work it out. Turns out it didn't work out. So this question I usually ask artists who only do rapping, but I can see that you do producing as well. So you pretty much get involved with all your mixing and mastering, or do you actually have somebody else collaborating with you?
Every single time for the last 7 or 8 years. I think I've released like 7 projects, mostly on SoundCloud. My first one on DSPs as of December 15th of last year. I've always done my own mix and masters.
Yeah, and I remember going even to your room when you were at your mom's, and I would even see you recording there and mixing and mastering right there. So I always know that you do that for yourself, and that's one thing I always try to teach people or tell people is like, try to learn a little bit of it.
Yeah,
because it's all on the internet. It's all on there. And as long as you understand the lingo and how to communicate with your producer, it makes things so much easier.
And that's the one thing, like, a part of me is kind of like iffy about the BandLab wave, which recording on your phone, that's what we were talking about. BandLab lets you do that. It's great because it lets people that don't have that opportunity to go to the studio to be able to like work on their songs and get their demos or whatever in case they want to go to the studio one day. But like also like the platform also like lets you do a little bit of mixing and mastering. It's got compressors, EQs, it's got auto-tune on it.
Damn.
So it's like it's dope, and I feel like people should use it to learn like how to like communicate with their producer as far as like, oh, right, do something with the compression, do something with the EQ, is too high level, like on the high frequencies. But I think every artist should be involved in that just because like it helps you sound unique if you can kind of give me an example of where you want to go with the song. You know what I mean? I'm a huge student, I feel like, of Rick Rubin, Dr. Dre, just producers that took the music and knew it was hard and knew it was dope, and they were just like, we've got to do something different. We've got to make this either sound really clean and pristine, or we got to add our personality into it. The sound, not what we're saying, but the sound has to have some sort of personality behind it. And I feel like when you listen to any good record, whether it be Kendrick, Michael Jackson, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, when you listen to how it sounds like the personality of that artist. And I feel like that's because that artist is probably involved in their mixing and mastering. They're probably not next to their engineer or producer during the session, but they probably get another session and they sit with bro and they just listen to him work, and they're probably just making a few suggestions like, what if we put sound effects here? What if we bring the reverb up here and put a beat cut and then bring the beat cut? You know what I mean? Just stuff like that to help tell the story of the song. I feel like it's so important, and that's why I like being involved in my own stuff. I know how I want to sound, and I don't have to consult anybody to make myself sound like that. I can just sit down and do it. So I'm grateful for that. I think every artist should be involved in that, though.
Yeah, and I think a lot of some mainstream artists, like I know Juicy J a while back, whenever I think he released the album Stay Trippy, I think it was. I think it was after that album or before that album. He's in an interview, he said like, yeah, I took a year off rapping and learned how to produce, just so he can like, I guess, communicate that better with other people. But also, he just wanted to learn how to produce.
That's real.
And then he went on to produce a couple of albums.
That's real. That's real.
So, yeah, it's just like you invest your own time a little bit because it'll just make that your craft a little bit better.
Exactly. That's like being a cameraman and not knowing how to edit, which I'm sure a lot of cameramen learn how to edit, but I know some that film and only film and send their stuff off.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you understand both worlds, when you're behind the camera shooting live, you can do certain things that's going to make your editing process a lot easier versus trying to, all right, I got to work off of how he shot and I got to try to add my sauce to it. It's just so weird. Like, you might as well just be the avenue that they're traveling down. Just figure it all out and do it all.
What I like to do is learn it all and then just master one thing. Because then as long as you know how to, know all the basics to everything, then you can kind of communicate all of those very easily. You can understand what he's saying about his job. You can understand what they're saying about their job. And then even though your job is just visual effects, where it's like, all right, I can just communicate like, hey, this is the parameters that I need you to stay within so I can make my job that easier. Right,
exactly.
So it's all about communication. So you may not have to be the best at producing, but as long as you know how to communicate it, I think you'll be okay.
Absolutely.
A little bit better than the next rapper who doesn't know how to communicate.
Exactly, and those are some of the most frustrating sessions is people that don't know how to communicate what they want, because then I have to try to find a needle in the haystack and go through 6 different ideas of me trying to figure out what you want, and then getting 6 different no's, and then the one yes is the simplest thing. It's like, yeah, just we gotta do better with communication as creatives and artists, especially when we're collaborating with each other. Like, we just gotta collaborate and communicate.
When it comes to artists, do you mainly stick to people in your group, or do you like to also collaborate and talk with others from around the area or even globally?
As of lately, I feel like I've been staying in my group, my circle, just because it's already established. There's already a brotherhood there. There's already a foundation. We all know how we work. We all know each other's styles, our voices, our textures. Because it's deep. When you're working in like a group setting and not just like a collective, like people that just get together, where you're a group, so to say, is kind of like there has to be a cohesiveness there. When I work with other people outside of that, I won't say it's not the same, but it's definitely a learning experience. There's a lot more you have to learn, which that can be fun. And then, everybody has that one collaboration where they're like, I'm not doing that again. So, but personally, I prefer to kind of stay within the group and kind of just build on what's there. Because depending on who's in that group, if everybody in that group is dope and you feel like I was saying earlier, I've had a cloudy mind lately. It's kind of, sometimes I feel like I fall behind. Sometimes I feel like, I am not putting 110% where everybody else is putting 200%. So it's like, sometimes it's just like diamond sharpening diamond. I used to say that with Imperial all the time, because you have these 2 great lyricists, 2 great performers, 2 showmen that went to school together, and Trey and Swerve. And then I was kind of the third man for a while. And then once I felt like we opened up more to us being a group, there was a brotherhood, there was cohesiveness, there was people seeing it on stage. People would see us perform and say, we perform like we got our shit together already. It's because like we understand each other. We understand how we work. We understand each other's nuances. So I prefer working with that and building off of that. Everybody that's in my circle, I like just working in my circle. Unless somebody extremely dope, you have to be extremely dope, comes out of the blue and it's like, yo, bro, check this out. I made this. And I'm like, yo, Yeah, we gotta work. We
Yeah.
gotta work. Like when I feel excited to hear somebody's shit, or when I'm excited to see whatever you've put out, then I'm like, bro, I gotta work with them.
Who's are there any like, you know, synonymous artists out there that may or may not be big right now that a lot of people may not know that you want to collaborate with? Like whether they're in Florida or even globally, that you're like, man, this might be a person that might be coming up. I want to work with this artist.
There's a lot of them,
Like
bro.
2 people that you can name.
There's a lot of them. I mean, a lot of them I'm already working with back in Soda. Outside of
Outside of the group.
outside of the group, there's so many to name, dog.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, because I'm also trying to keep up as well as like any other upcoming artists. But that's what I was want to see is also to pick your brain a little bit, like who you're listening to, and maybe like, man, I want to collaborate with this person.
I mean, as far as like people I want to collaborate, like for example, one that's already up, I feel like he's not necessarily mainstream yet, but he kind of scratched at the mainstream with his last album. Is Isaiah Rashad. He's from Chattanooga, Tennessee. He's signed to TDE, Kendrick's former label in Cali, and he's dope.
What's his name again?
Isaiah Rashad. I could say he is probably one of the few newer artists that has heavily influenced my sound. He kind of has like I don't want to call it lazy, but like kind of like this just Southern sound about him. It's like the modern Southern rap, I feel like. He's one of the guys that's like up there, kind of, that's like right there next to the mainstream that I would love to work with one day. And everybody from TDE from that fact, like not even just Kendrick, who's one of my favorite artists, but everybody from TDE is like just I don't know what the formula is over there at that record label, but everybody over there has got slaps that I like. As far as locally, I mean, if I could work more with my brother Derek Goborn, that would be amazing. He's like me. He's extremely busy. He's a performer. He's a songwriter. He's a producer in the sense that he actually makes beats and actually knows music. He writes for other people. He tours with the West Coast Black Theater Troupe, always doing shows. He's one of my inspirations as far as like the work ethic. He's one of the people I always point towards as being one of the most hardworking. But if I could work more with him, not even just on music, if I could pick his brain and we just do like more collaborations and networking with other people and getting other artists together, which is something he's good at. He's good at putting artists together. I think that's something I could benefit from a lot. Because he is just, I feel like for him to be like a year older than me, maybe 2 years older than me, is like the way he moves is like a industry veteran. Dare I say it. He moves like an industry veteran. So there's a lot that I've learned from him. I feel like there's a lot more I can learn from him. What can I say? Like, this is my dog. I'm being real.
Because there are some rappers out there that make them songs where it's like, man, this is something heartfelt.
Right.
And sometimes it just does not hit for me.
Yeah, me too. Me too, absolutely.
But it could still put it out because somebody might find it, whether it's a relative of that family member or just a fan that might have gone through an experience like that.
Oh yeah.
Put it out.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, there's an avenue for everybody. I'm not saying nothing is bad. It's just, I have my parameters. When I'm listening to stuff, I'm kind of just like, does this meet the quality that I feel like I would listen to it like constantly on a daily? Which that's the other thing as an artist, you kind of got to get used to being critiqued, which is that's something I'm always kind of like battling with. I feel like, but again, going back to like our first couple of questions earlier. It's really important how you bounce back.
Yeah.
So like,
this is all that.
I take a lot of critique, and I might be cloudy minded for a week because I'm thinking about everything I've heard. I'm kind of thinking about in relation to how I work, but then like I always bounce back. I always like rather I forget about it or I just get over it. I'm just like, all right, bro. It is what it is. Like, I have all these people behind me that support me and they're like, bro, you're the best artist I've ever heard around here. And then you have people that are like, could be a little better, but hey, like, you just gotta do what you can do, and that's keep going, bro.
Yeah, I like to take all my videos that I'll make or anything that I make, and I try to look for feedback from anywhere, whether it's on blog posts, Reddit, social media, or just I'll send it to a college friend. I'll be like, hey, what do you think of this?
Right, like,
let me get your feedback. I like getting the actual, like, I think it's good, but I think you can do better here.
right.
You know?
And tell me it sucks if it sucks too.
Yeah.
Like, tell me to take that shit back to the drawing board, bro. Because like, if I make a song that I feel like is hard, and nobody tells me that shit is butt, like I don't know, like it might be a hard song, bro, but I feel like if you don't have at least one person that's gonna keep it real and tell you how they feel. Like, I tell people, like, bro, if I'm asking for your opinion, act like you don't know me. Act like I'm just some random on the street saying, yeah, yo, bro, check me out real quick. Let me see your phone. Tap the back of my shit. Check out my music real quick, bro. Let me know how you sound. Like, let me know how you feel. That shit ass. All right, bro, I'm going to go work on it. That's what we need as artists. We don't need everybody telling us, like, everything we do is good. That's not how we get better. It's not how we get better as people, so...
But
start telling people their shit is ass.
I can't say that to you, but because I like a lot of your music, man.
Thank you.
I still haven't come across a song, but I'll probably listen to one and be like, yo, man, this one just wasn't me.
Yeah, no.
And maybe it'll be like, all right, maybe I should probably avoid this song or this type of beats or whatever.
Oh yeah, for sure. Then I'll know, like, all right, the genuine consistency is not fucking with that one. We're gonna save that.
Switch beats or maybe lyrics.
Right.
But man, it's been awesome having you, dude.
Bro, it's been a minute. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yes, sir. That was great.
I kind of loosened up on the way through. I was kind of like, at first, but now I'm like, that was fun.
Yeah, man. It's the wildlife, I guess, around here, having butterflies and lizards and.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, the rooster actually calmed me down.
Yeah? I hate the roosters. But, guys, thank you for being here as well.
Thank y'all.
Anything that he mentioned in, like, I think you mentioned a couple friends in here.
Yeah. My gamer tag,
all of that's going to be in the
Nintendo Switch
description.
tag, all that. If you want to catch it on, what's that shit called? Brawlhalla, Super Smash Bros. You know what I mean? Call of Duty Vanguard.
So, see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.